What is going on, guys? Brad Messersmith here from the Fantasy Golf Degenerates, bringing you another expert model breakdown. It's the Masters week, the last week I plan on spending as a non-millionaire, and in millionaire fashion, we're wearing sunglasses where we don't belong, indoors. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown. I'm going to tell you guys how you can become millionaires too. That's not true, actually, because I plan on taking the million. You can have second place. So, we're going to break down the expert model. As always, we're on the fantasyfanatics.com. Make sure to get over there, use the link in the description of this video, and become a premium member. You can get access to all the tools that you're going to see here today. You're going to get access to my ownership projections. You are going to get access to all kinds of incredible things that will make you a better DFS player. Do it now. Don't forget to do it. Let me know what you think, and we'll go from there. So, key stats this week. We're going to get a little bit back to the basics. We know we're at Augusta for the Masters, so we're pretty familiar with the course. So we're gonna build a model that is going to match the course pretty well, I think. First and foremost, birdie or better percentage. We know this week the cut is a little bit different. Top 50 in ties, along with anybody within 10 strokes of the leader. So we could see a big percentage of the field get through the cut. Typically on weeks like that, we want to really target the birdie makers more so than usual. So, birdie or better percentage. Strokes gained tee to green is a stat that, again, these first two stats you're going to see in almost every model that I build. These two this week are even heavier weighted than normal. They're both the heaviest weight in the model. DraftKings points gained on par 72 courses. We're on a par 72 course this week. Obviously, heavy correlation there. Approaches from 200 to 225 is a stat that is not as common in models. We know Augusta plays a little bit long, should favor bombers, which is part of why we have driving distance in there as number 2 weight, and then DraftKings points gained in strong field events. Obviously, this is a strong field, one of the best we'll see all year, so we're going to have the guys who are going to play well on strong field events. So, all of that being said, if you have any discrepancies, anything you see in there that doesn't make sense, make sure to reach out to me on Twitter at BMSDFS and let me know. You can get on here and make your own model. You can make adjustments to mine. You can download and play the exact same model I'm showing you here today on the fantasyfanatics.com. So like I said, get over there, sign up, and let me know what you think. So let's go ahead and get into some of the players. You're going to see at the top a name. In fact, I should mention that of all the players that are in the field this week, I'm not going to cover too many of the top guys. I think that over 9K is going to be hard to make too many mistakes this week. They're all phenomenal golfers. They're all going to be able to win on any given week. So I'm not going to tell you whether to pick Rory or Dustin Johnson or Jordan Spieth. You can't go wrong picking any of them. They all have a chance to win. So I'm not going to try and pick and choose those guys for you. I will set you up with some guys that are a little bit lower here that I think have a chance to possibly win or do some damage and may go overlooked a little bit for GPP. So first and foremost, Justin Thomas. He's a back-to-back winner this year already. Has been a little bit rocky over the course of the past couple of months, but at 8,900, he doesn't have a price that I'm going to complain about too much. Statistically, he is one of the better fits in the field. In fact, he's the second best fit in the field. If you look over here at his stats again, first in birdie or better percentage, 6th in strokes gained tee to green, 2nd in DraftKings points gained par 72, 4th in 200 to 225 yards out. Driving distance, he's 12th. DraftKings points gained in strong field events, he's 3rd. He averages 4th ranked in all of those stats. So there is not much to complain about there with Justin Thomas. And again, because of his recent form, I think he's going to go overlooked. He could potentially be the golfer that I have highest owned in all of my lineups. Dropping down a little bit more, Adam Scott, in terms of sheer talent, is very underpriced at 8,800. You're going to hear this as a theme throughout the week of the Masters because the field is so strong. You're going to see guys that look underpriced compared to what they actually typically see in terms of pricing from week to week. That is not the case for Adam Scott. I believe that Adam Scott belongs up among the top players in the world, and he is not priced as such. So I'm going to be jumping on Adam Scott a little bit there as well. Phil Mickelson is a tough guy to overlook, especially when we're talking about Augusta. At 8,700, I have no complaints. Statistically, recent form, he's been playing very well. We'll see how he plays this week at the Shell Houston Open. I expect him to do well there as well. But again, coming into Augusta, Phil is always a guy you have to keep your eye on. Bubba Watson, I think, is one of the guys who I'm going to get most people disagreeing with me on. Bubba Watson has been playing terrible golf basically all year, even kind of back into last year. He did okay in, I think it was the Tour Championship, one of the shortened field events at the end of the year in the FedEx Cup playoffs. Bubba did okay, but it's been a very long time since we've seen Bubba sustain anything. Many people are speculating that it's because he changed his golf ball to the pink Volvic that has become so anti-popular. But I kind of think that Bubba Watson is not a terrible play, and part of the reason is because his ownership is going to be low. Clearly, he's a course horse. We can scroll over here to the right a little bit and take a look. He's got 2 wins on the course and has never missed a cut in 6 tries, so it's going to be hard to overlook that. Obviously, like I said, recent form is not great, but with his ownership being so low, I'm going to take a little bit of a flyer on Bubba, and I'm not going to look back. Rafael CabreraBello is a guy at 7,200 who also is going to be overlooked. I really like him for the Shell Houston Open. I believe I mentioned him in my expert model last week. He's going to be in a lot of my Shell Houston Open lineups. I'm hoping he doesn't do too well because it will drastically affect his ownership projections and his ownership percentage if he does do well. But he is a very, very skilled golfer who has competed in big events worldwide and has competed well. Golfer that typically in these Millie Maker type fields is going to go more overlooked than you might expect because of the lack of name recognition. Now, obviously, if he's winning the week before, there's going to be a lot more name recognition there, but these Euro Tour guys have a tendency to go a little bit under-owned, and in terms of skill, the fact that he's 7,200, I could see RCB as a potential winner. Definitely has the upside and ability to get himself into the top 10 or the top 5. JB Holmes, as has been the case, you've heard me mention him basically all year, almost in every video, I think. He's been consistently underpriced. He is a far better golfer than he's being given credit for, and that is no different today. He is 6th overall in my model. Recent form, course history, stats all line up really well for JB Holmes. At 7,100, I will have a lot more of JB than the field, and I'm not going to worry about it. JB Holmes, I think, is somebody you could play in cash if you plan on playing cash formats for the Masters this week. Kevin Na is a guy who I'm a little bit concerned about. Obviously, we're playing GPP, so we're going to have to take some risks. Kevin Na, in my opinion, is a golfer that I'm going to be taking risks on. He consistently performs well in majors and fields like this. He consistently plays well at WGC type events, shortened field events. He's played well at Augusta in the past. Kevin Na is a guy that I think at 7,100 has some upside. Pat Perez, PXG Pat Perez, one of my favorite golfers on tour this year. I'm sure if you've been following me on Twitter or listening to the Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast that I am the host of, you've heard me talk more than enough about Pat Perez. With the new switch to the PXG irons at the beginning of the year, he has been playing absolutely phenomenal. I think that this is a case where we're seeing a golfer who has actually made some very big strides and is not the golfer we're used to thinking of him as. Pat Perez is going to finish in the top 25 this week, and I am going to put that down as a lock. Kevin Kisner is a golfer that I'm a little bit concerned about, but it's hard to argue with. Recent form has been trending upwards. We saw most of last year he did not play all that well, but this year, especially recently this year, he seems to have found his game. Something has clicked with Kevin Kisner. I don't think the community, the DFS community, all the sharps out there have adjusted very well, and certainly the general public will not have adjusted yet. So in things like the Millie Maker, I expect him to go overlooked, at least to some extent. Francesco Molinari, for me, falls into that Pat Perez category. He's at 6,800, which to me is way underpriced. If you play the Euro Tour, you're used to seeing Francesco Molinari up there in the 10+ K salary range. Obviously, this is a different field than most of the Euro Tour events that he plays on, but he's been playing overseas for most of the year and has been playing very, very well. For me, for some reason, it seems like Vegas and the salary has not adjusted yet to Francesco Molinari's upside and his abilities this year. I think he has the ability to finish in the top 10. Probably not a winner, but definitely somebody who's going to be good enough to make his way into my GPP lineups. And last but not least, Brad Dahlk is a 19-year-old from Oklahoma. I put him in here more as a, hey, heads up, let's keep this name in the back of our minds moving forward. Based on history, we know that guys like this have a tendency not to perform very well in their first go-around at Augusta, so I'm not going to be taking much of Brad Dahlk, but he is a very, very skilled up-and-comer. When you look at the salary range that he's matched in, he's with the likes of Mike Weir, Mark O'Meara, guys who are not going to have any chance at competing. Brad Dahlk may also not have any chance at competing, but he's a name that I want to keep an eye on. Again, as a young, up-and-coming, skilled golfer, could potentially make the cut. Most likely is not a real candidate as a winner, but felt like I should mention him just to kind of keep him in the back of your mind and watch as his career progresses. So that's going to do it for us today. If you like this video, if you like any of the other videos, be sure to give a like on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe so that you can get this video every single week where I break down my model. If you want to play my model, if you want to generate lineups using my model, you can do that at thefantasyfanatics.com. And be sure to let me know who your favorite golfers are for the Masters on Twitter at BMESDFS. See you guys next time.